This is Red Moon Role-Playing.
The 4 Holt siblings have been through an evening where they've lost track of their mother, found her home riddled with body parts of her neighbors. They made their way to their childhood home in Selkirk, with no sign of mother and only traces of old memories and a sense that something is out to get them, or some of them. You're all shook up as you're tiredly getting back into the car, wet from the downpour of rain, muddy from having slipped in the mud, with scrapes and bruises on you. All worse for wear, all tired. But Chris had the idea that could she have gone to her work? Could she be at the medical center? And it's now closer to 1:30 in the night as you're starting to drive there. The medical center is a multi-story building that serves the whole county. Most of the public-facing facilities on the ground floor, the patient wards and doctors' offices are on the upper floors. The building has a classical brick facade and large windows, with a more modern interior. But this is what you see as you come driving from outside. Do you keep mostly quiet in the car? Does anyone comment on the young girl that you thought you saw up on the hill just before you left?
I'll be mumbling about that in between drinks. What was that little girl?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Figures in the night. 3 figures. I don't know. And I just mumble to myself. I'm clearly very, very out of it.
What do you mean 3 figures? There was just the one.
No,
it's a little girl.
I've always seen 3 figures, and they were always coming for me, until they weren't. It's just a dream. Just a dream.
Sophie gives a shudder. Yeah, bad dreams. Bad dreams. And Ava shrugs tiredly. Are you sure you're okay to drive, Sophie? Yeah. We're just here now. You see that there are several cars and an ambulance piled up at the emergency entrance. The alarms are still blaring. Wee. Place inside is pitch black, as if the electricity has been cut off. Something is awry. There's no staff. There's no one.
I just squint, utterly confused. Hell, I barely even had time to change clothes. I'm mud-drenched and still wet, although possibly a bit dry now. As soon as the car pulls up, I'm just gonna get out of the car. I just say, what the fuck is going on?
I don't know. But something tells me Mom is involved.
What do you mean? Why? She wouldn't be involved. Why would she be involved?
She just squeezes her eyes together, Ava. Sophie comes up to hold her hand. Maybe they evacuated for some reason?
We need to get in there.
The front doors, the sliding doors, are not opening, but upon trying to push them, they do move aside.
I start trying to push my way in. I'll look to Richard and say, Dickie, just Keep an eye out.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. And I will try to do just that. I don't know what's going on, but it's not good.
And Sophie kind of grabs your arm. Come on.
And I'll follow. And the booze is really starting to affect me.
You hear, as you come in, you hear screams. Screams that are some more distant than others. As you get in through the whole admitting information reception area, coming from upstairs, further into the building. There's no staff though. You hear banging on the walls, you hear going off on internal alarms, you have to turn on your torches to see anything. And then further in there's people. They're walking with eyes blank, mindless looks. And Dickie, as you pass by one of them, you realize this person is dead. That's livor mortis. That's pale, stretched skin. She doesn't look at you. She just walks slowly ahead, dressed in patient clothes. There's a scraping noise, like stone clashing against stone. And then the lights come on. And you see that people, clearly. Some seeming like patients that are just out of it, other looking dead. Sophie squeezes your arm, Dickie. No one seems to pay attention to you. Chris, how do you react to all this?
I'm in a nightmare. I must be in a nightmare. Everything doesn't make any sense. This isn't possible. What I'm seeing is impossible. But that's fine. I don't have time to think beyond the now and the immediate. I need to get past these things and find Mum. Mum's here. Yeah, she must be here. And these things are just, they're not important. I'm just going to try and avoid them. I'm not here for them.
Ava gives a yelp, and she mumbles something. It sounds like she just recognized someone that she knew when they were alive, and she falls in behind you now, Chris, letting you take the lead. And Richard, with Sophie next to you, you see a vision of your body decaying, just like one of these walking corpses, as nightmarish creatures start removing your limbs one by one. You could have given in to this pain and obliteration, but you didn't. What feeling, memory, or fragment of your life do you cherish so much that you are anchored to stay?
I think it's the memory of the business success that I had. When every call I made, it just worked out. And the money kept flowing in, and I was able to live the life, you know? Beautiful women, coke. Life was good, and it can't be like that again. I just gotta get it all back. And I can still do that. I can still do that. And it's the memory of that, of the time when life was, when everything was real, and I was in paradise. That's what keeps me going through all this.
It's somehow fond memories, and they've been tugging at you, forcing you to stay when other options seemed closer at hand. You realize as you see the people, the dead people, you realize that they're probably all coming from below, down from the autopsy ward. That must be where something is going wrong.
They must be coming from down below, from the autopsy ward. Let's... Maybe Mom's there.
I look at Richard, confused, but there's no time. No time. I just nod almost dumbly and go, okay, you lead the way then. Okay, autopsy room.
Yes, Chris. Of course, the logical thing for you would be that she would be up in her office. Offices are all on the top floor. But something about what Dickie says rings true.
Exactly.
That might be the case.
And besides, it's all a nightmare, right? So maybe it doesn't matter where we go, because it clearly isn't real anymore. It can't be.
You start heading down the stairs. They spiral around. You go down 1 floor, 2 floors, and then you're on the lower levels. And then as you start to go down what looks one of these typical hospital tunnels, the lights go out again. And Ava shouts out, "Damn it!" just angrily. And then there's a gust of wind again. And all the doors along the corridor blow open. Just like the windows in the attic. There's a chill. And again that scraping noise, like stone clashing against stone, as a section of the wall opens up. You are barely able to bring up your torches before you hear footsteps running towards you. Dickie, you're in the front. I'd like you to roll to avoid harm. As through the air, something comes whizzing. You can just about make out the noise and the movement, maybe instinctively doing something.
That's 15.
And something stumbles into you. And one of the lights in the corridor flickers at the same time as Sophie from the back is bringing up her flashlight. And you see him. You see a face that you don't really recognize. A tall, lanky man, patchy dark hair, sporting a pair of cracked and bloody glasses. He wears simple, somewhat old-fashioned clothes, and his face appears to be trapped in a perpetual scowl. And he screams and cries out, "Die!" as he just stumbles past you. And you, Chris, you just see this. You see your brother is being attacked with a hammer. That's what this person is holding in his hand. And you know who it is. It's him. It's Leonard. Coming out of the wall.
Leonard? I don't understand, and I don't care. I have a torch. I need to hit him with the torch. I need to protect my brother. We've never been close, not for many years, and we have our problems, but he's my brother, and he's in this nightmare. He's an ally, my family. I need to help him.
And what do?
I try and hit Leonard with a torch.
Alright, roll to engage in combat.
9.
You swing with the torch, and you slip off his clothes as if your arm stops its way almost halfway through the attack. And he laughs. You were the one that sent me away. And he swings, but not at you. At Sophie, who is taking a step back. And you let it happen! And his hammer goes down with a sickening crunch on her knee, and she screams and falls together in a small pile. And Ava is backing up. She's screaming too. And let's say, Dickie, you get a chance to do something. He's turning away from you.
I'll jump him. I'm going to kill this motherfucker.
All right. And roll to engage in combat.
That is 14.
Describe what it is that you're trying to do. Because you're succeeding.
Well, I'm going to get the weapon first. Try to get it out of his hands. And then I'm going to strangle him.
You try and wring that hammer out of his hand. He's strong, though. But you spend all that time at the gym. It wasn't for nothing. You're able to twist his arm, not completely making him let go of the hammer, but striking down with it yourself on his clavicle bone. And there's another crack, and he looks at you with a frantic, wide-eyed stare and a big smile, as if he half enjoyed that. And then you are being flung back, and I'm going to need you to roll to endure injury with a -2.
That is a 9 then.
You are flung so hard into the wall that the back of your head strikes it hard with a whiplash. And tell us what it is that you choose to suffer here. Are you knocked out, possibly with a serious wound, or do you receive a critical wound?
I'll take a critical wound, then I have to remain standing here. I need to take this thing out before it kills my siblings, and I can't allow that to happen.
You are somehow still, you notice, holding on to this arm. He has flung you into the wall with his hand still attached to yours. Yes, write down a critical wound as a head injury or a concussion or some such. Your sight swirls and you see odd colors, but you're holding on. And Chris, what do you try to do?
I need to help my brother. I need to try and grapple this bastard. I'm going to try and just dive into him, screaming, "We did nothing to you! We did nothing!" Shall I roll for violence again?
Yes, please. You are striking with your torch?
Yes, and that time I get a 13.
All right. Sophie, who has buckled down on the floor, she's screaming, urging you to kill him, to stop him. And she's flickering with a torch so that you can actually see, despite all this madness that's going on. And you bring down your torch on him hard with a smack to the head, as Ava is also trying to hold him stuck. And he slumps. And it seems like everything grows still for a second. Like he's passed out. You can feel him twitch a little bit.
Tie him up. Let's get him. Let's get a hold of him. And I try, and now if he's unconscious, we'll disarm him and see if we can wrap up his clothes and or get his arms behind the back of his body and hold him down. Or maybe there's something nearby we can use.
I'll try to stand up and help out, and then I feel myself slumping back down from that injury that I've taken. I don't feel so good.
You feel that you're slumping back down, and but it's okay. Ava is keeping a hold of him, and as Sophie is still trying to make herself stand up, but that knee is crushed. You look around for something to tie him up with, and then there's just a moment. A slithering, oozing moment where he almost... You can hear the cracking of limbs as he bends his joints in a sickening way, somehow getting out of the grip that Ava holds. You're trying to hold on to, but you're weakened, Dickie. And he stands up, looks at you, Chris, and then, as the lights flicker on, he's gone.
I don't... This can't be happening. I blink, I stumble upwards. The lights are back on. Are the walls still broken? Are there still strange corpses everywhere?
Down here, there's no one but you. There wasn't. But you hurt him. Somehow, you know that you hurt him. You are all shaken and more or less wounded. There's only one way to keep going, and it's down these corridors. Whether you try and make your way up or down, maybe you don't even know.
We need to keep going down. We need to keep going down. It's him. Somehow he's done this. He's done something. He's done something awful, and he's trying to hurt Mum. We need to stop him, and we will. Let's keep going.
Ava, being a medical professional herself, even though you agree with this, Dickie, and you get up with some help, she's looking over you and at Sophie, and she gives you a very hesitant look, but she doesn't say anything. And you start walking through these long and winding paths. You go up a stair and then down another. There's tighter corridors below ground that you need to almost turn to the side to go through, and then you are there. The autopsy ward, it's standing there like one solitary piece, this door, and in it is another dreadful sight. There are screaming corpses strapped to stretchers, scattered all over the ward, in the elevator, in rooms, nearby tunnels. But here is the staff, stunned, doctors and nurses staggering about, sitting on the floor, tears streaming down their faces. Blood and slabs of flesh are strewn about the floor, and the stench of formalin, cleaning solution, and rotting flesh lingers in the air. I'd like you all to keep it together one more time.
15.
I roll a 1, or maybe 2. Let's say 2.
All right. Dickie, maybe it's the booze, maybe it's the acceptance, maybe it's the pain or the wooziness. Somehow this all... Sure, there's more of it now. But, Chris, there is a strong sensation that somehow, yes, this is your fault. This is because of you. You feel that you've done something. You've not looked after your mother properly. You've not been there. You did something long ago. Something maybe with your stepfather, but it is all your fault. Let's have you... You can't really control your actions. You stagger through this room, going in first, seeing all these doctors, nurses, either staring blankly into space in apathy, monotonously working, pretending to work as if they were on autopilot. And in a corner, there's a man, Andrew, the coroner, you know him. He's laughing and he's crying, and intermittently he's looking up with a blank stare. She's waiting for you. She's waiting in her office. She waits there for you. She told me herself she's dead. Dead. All of us are dead. You too. Soon enough. We can't do anything anymore. It's all over.
And I just nod dumbly because he's right. It's my fault. It's all my fault. I didn't do enough. It was the dreams. I always, when people asked where my talent came from, I always used to joke and say I made a deal with the devil. Because the dreams, I controlled them by writing them down, and then I made some money off it. Wrote my books, but I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have. That's what this is. And now I'm being punished. Mother's being punished, and we're all being punished, and it's all my fault. And I don't know what I'll do. I need to see Mother. I just start walking upstairs. It's all my fault, and I no longer have any control over what I'm doing. I just nod to this man, muttering, "It's all my fault. We're all dead. We're all dead. We're all dead. All dead."
Dickie, you're being helped along. The sisters are quiet except for Sophie, sobbing, trying as she might to move, but she is crying from the pain of her shattered kneecap. What do?
I try to console her. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be fine. We'll find Mom soon. And she's gonna make everything alright, just like she always did, just like when we were kids. She fixes things.
Mom does fix things. And as you enter the office that Andrew indicated, she's there. She's sitting with her back turned towards you. There's an odor of decay in the room. And she turns around on the chair. Her skin waxy and pale, speckled with liver mortis. Her facial features have grown distorted as her gaze is cold and absent. There she is, dead, and yet looking at you. And I would like you one more time to see if you can keep it together.
18.
15.
It's as if you've both reached what you were looking for. It's not what you hoped for. But for some reason, it's as if all four siblings are drawing a sigh of relief. Maybe this is the end of whatever it is.
Don't know if I think that. I think it's more I just understand that it's all my fault, and I just fall to my knees, quietly saying, "I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't think they were real. I shouldn't have. I thought I had it controlled. It's all my fault, and you're dead, and we're dead too, aren't we?"
She stands up and she goes over to you, running her hand through your hair, and then grabbing, not too forcefully, but still holding you like a fistful of the hair. And she says, as she turns your head, pulls it back so that your eyes meet hers, that cold stare, she says, "It is you, Christopher. You caused this. Leonard is coming for you, and he'll drive you towards death. Yet you refuse to let me die. You won't let anyone die. When he came for me, it was you that he was after. He won't stop with me. He won't stop until he's got you. He'll take you all," she says, and look up at the rest of you. "He'll take you all if he can."
What do we do? I don't want to let you go. But what do we do, Mom?
She grabs your hands, lifts you up. You must save yourselves. You can't wait for him out there. He'll just keep getting stronger, and sooner or later he'll trap you. You must come over here and face him. Here you'll be able to see what is going on. As things are right now, you are blind. She looks at you, Dickie.
All right, we'll fix this. We can do it. So what do we do? Like, exactly, what should we do?
You're not in the realms of death. That's where you must be. You, Richard, you're an abomination, just like your brother. Maybe you should both atone yourself. Set things straight.
We will, Mom, we will. Okay, take us to you and we'll do it. We'll stop him.
Yeah.
She looks at you coldly and a bit distantly, as if she said all she intended to say. Ava steps up. What do you mean? We have to die? And your mother turns to her. You call yourself a doctor. Took the easy way out. To keep up a lie. You don't know anything about being in control or what it takes to raise a family, which I had to endure. You know what you did to your husband. You can do it to your brothers and sisters. And she almost spits those last words.
Wait, no, what about just me and Richard? They have, even Sophie didn't do anything.
Sophie. She looks over to her. She sees the grievous wound that she's taken to the leg. Maybe you'll find an answer for what plagues you over on that side. And Sophie nods. Yes, maybe I will. Ava grows a bit stiff, but she says, There are injections we could take.
You need to do it then. Do it now. Please, we need to do it now.
She looks to you, Dickie.
I don't want to die, but I think you're right. What happened to me, I remember it vividly. The year that I lost. The things that I felt happen to me. Yeah. I am already dead. So just finish it. I don't want it to hurt, that's all.
No, you won't feel much at all. You'll feel less than living. And you all know, somehow, that continue living from what you all done, it cannot make things better. And so you find a more quiet room on the upper floors. Ava finds the syringe and the lethal injections, not things that you necessarily keep around in a hospital, but she knows what things to mix in order to make it so. And that is where, as morning starts to come, you all together take your lives, and you are flying down towards a tunnel of pure light. But you never reach that opening, the end, the glory, the salvation or rest. Instead, you awaken again, in the same room, but the world around you is changed. Mother isn't there anymore. You don't know where she is, but you know that her fate is not yours. As you look around in the room that is normally a patient ward, you see blood pouring out of all surfaces like a steady stream. The windows, too. There's a stench, and your bodies are all slowly stiffening. A sensation of them dying. There's strange pains, itches, features on your skin. Dickie, you see black bulbous warts on one of your arms. Chris, you see Sophie flexing her leg more easier now as the rest of her body is in an equally poor state. You're in this room, and outside what you can see is a winding labyrinth. What do you do as you find yourself in this new, strangely feeling existence?
I should be scared, but I'm not. I did this. I don't really know how, but I did. I did seal Leonard away, or have them take him away, didn't I? Maybe this is revenge, sick, twisted revenge. But I don't care. I'm going to stop him. We need to find Leonard, I say aloud. And I'll just start towards this labyrinth of darkness, and I just need to sense him. Maybe I can sense him. I'll start calling out, Leonard! Let's finish this!
The sisters raise from their hospital beds as well. They start moving towards you, and Sophie looks back at you, Dickie. Is it better now?
Yeah. It feels better now. Right, somehow.
You're walking past deep shafts, rattling elevators, dark corridors that connect what seems like huge, almost infinite chambers filled with rusted machines. Blood is continuously pouring out from the floors, the walls, and ceilings. You see pieces of people hanging out, a hand twitching, a face twisting in the wall to follow you as you walk. There's children in some of the rooms, twisted and corpse-like. And in others, you see people dressed in what looks like priestly robes, dressed in leather. And they seem to all be enjoying a torture of several people, all in the different rooms. And they all look just like him. They all look like Leonard. It's all illuminated by an odd light source. Not like a normal torch or anything, but it's as if the walls themselves are slightly aglow, as well as open flames that burn deep within some of the shafts. You hear slashing, 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 cutting noises, sawing, heard in the distance. But as you listen closely and you walk, they're all interwoven with these cries of pain and suffering. And you come out. You come out of the Albany Medical Center. This is still Glenmont, a distorted version of the nearby St. Peter's S. This is Glenmont, a distorted version of it. Distorted, much like the St. Peter's Episcopal Church that's looming in the sky, and the rest of the hamlet and surrounding countryside sprawls beneath the hospital ground. You see people walking along the street, their footsteps hazy, missing pieces of skin and arms, much like you as you look at each other. It's as if you are witnessing hell, but you're also separated from it. Christopher, you feel a tingling sensation somewhere deep inside of you. It's like your soul feels much older than the body that's housing it. You sense that there used to be more to you. There used to be more than what you see. You had power.
I did. Long, long ago. Do I have it now? Can I reclaim it?
Can you? You flex your fingers, and it's as if something is flexing further away. Like a muscle that's out of practice. Something that tingles around you as well. Dickie, you've been here before. You remember every single second of being on this side. Maybe your recent life back in Glenmont was only a dream, and this is the real life. This is where you used to be.
Yeah. I'm home again. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to be. I've woken up. And now I have things to do. Gotta fix it. Gotta fix it.
Leonard! Come out then! You're walking through Glenmont. Ava is calling out. It's as if the hamlet is strange in its perspective of itself. Only some places are visible to you. And sometimes when you take a step, it's as if you are jumping between one place that you keep a memory to another. Anything else, places that you passed, places where you never entered, they're not there, not for you, because you have no attachment through them. You can witness things from your immediate past as adults, maybe laughing with someone outside the grocery store, maybe your university graduation, 4th of July celebration, whirlwind office romances, or devastating breakups. These are the things that come around you. You feel that you can move anywhere, but Leonard doesn't appear. Not in here. You feel a further stiffening of your joints and muscles as what must be rigor mortis is setting in. Chris, you can't find him. You're supposed to do something about all this, but he's not here.
I need to find him before we die. I don't know how it works for real. It's half-life. I don't know. I'll flex those muscles again. I want to sense him. The beings. The free. Can I find them? Can I call to them?
Where could you? Everything here seems to be tied to memories, to experiences. Where could you find a memory of them?
The house. When I was 13. Home. I'll say to the others, we need to go home. Now. Back home.
Yeah. Let's do it.
You all instinctively know where it is. It's as if you must only face that direction and start walking, and the rest of the hamlet and the countryside in between flashes by as if going on a speedy train. But it's all soaked in blood, and your feet slowly start walking into deeper and deeper pools, and you find yourself in a chamber, a massive chamber, almost like being outside, but yet you know that it's closed in. The walls and the ceilings, they can't be seen in this dim light. There's a massive amount of blood on the floor, reaching your knees, forcing you to wade through towards the hill upon which the house and the surrounding garden are situated, sticking up like an island. The neighboring homes have all fallen into disrepair, and they lie rotting like big wooden husks in the blood pool. The door is not locked. Just like everything else in here, it's familiar. You see familiar furnishings as you step in, but between them there are torture stations made from rusted iron. And here you see little scuttling creatures, along again with these priest-like people torturing those in cages that are scattered around. Cages glowing red hot. People who are screaming in pain and agony. Victims nailed to the walls with spikes, blood running down next to them, staining the old wallpaper. It dries up again. More blood comes and it's stained again. At this point, you no longer have to try and keep it together. Because this is too close to what you once used to be. Still, it's strangely unsettling. All of this makes sense, but you're also strangers in this realm. What do you do once you're here? Do you try and free any of these victims? Do you try and interfere with the people, the creatures?
I see no point. They're all dead and this is hell. Who am I to question hell? Who am I to interfere? Besides, I don't know how much strength we have. Must save it for Leonard. I will help no one. I will just walk through my shattered memories. Onwards.
There are objects strewn about the place. Things that could possibly be used for weapons. Saws, knives, hammers, wrenches. Anything, really.
I'll grab one of the wrenches. Something feels solid behind this wrench, yes.
And so, as you all come in there, you just stand. You wait. And like you having a purpose here, all the rest fades away. The torture instruments, the creatures, and slowly the walls. The walls of the house. It's as if you're just standing on the bottom floor and you're there with the 1970s furniture of your childhood. There are footsteps. Heavy, slobbing footsteps. And down from below the hill, they come. They come in three. The people. The three persons that you remember, Christopher, that once came to collect you and in whose place you sent your hated stepfather. The man that hit you, the man that you hit back. And he appears too. He walks up the front of the house, straight across the path, straight across the twisted garden, while the other three figures in their leathery cloaks, them also taking on what looks like a priestly form. One of them shorter than the other, while they're a bit taller, hair greasily hanging down on the side. And he comes walking, striding up the hill with his hammer in hand. And there aren't much words to utter. He fights. You all fight. You pick up whatever you have at your side, Christopher, you swing your wrench. Dickie, what do you do as your siblings turn to face someone who must once have been your older brother's tormentor?
I'll join in. Together we will destroy this and put everything to rest, including ourselves.
It feels like you go on and on. A head is being twisted out of shape from a one blow of the wrench. Bones are crushed. But you take so much more damage. It's like your head doesn't matter anymore, Dickie. The whatever wound you took before, you take 2 more before it all blacks out. And even then, you slowly come back as Sophie is holding him in a grip and Ava is sawing off a leg on him. At the same time as Chris keeps hammering and hammering and hammering. And you're able to rise again, Dickie, and keep going. Until finally, he falls. He staggers, and he doesn't get up. There's an unnatural silence filling the room, slowly, almost as if it was happening in slow motion. You see the 3 start walking up the hill. They come surrounding you, holding razor-sharp hooks in their hands. All of their gazes fixed upon Christopher, stopping about 10 feet away, and they start encircling you, and you, the rest of you, the siblings, regarding them with crooked smiles and cold, empty eyes.
I grip the wrench for a moment. I say, "No, I will come willingly. You will not have the others. I belong to you, not them.
It's time to repay your debt.
And I will, not them. I'll give you everything. But not if you try and take them, then I will fight."
You see them all shudder, almost as if infinite pleasure from you uttering those words is coursing through them, and unnaturally large goosebumps is forming on the arms of one of them who is wearing a shorter robe that only spills down over their shoulder. Finally, the final pleasure, the true pain. And she or they hold out a hand to you. Come to us.
You'll let them go if I do?
You see the 2 others there. They've stopped now, regarding all of you. One of them addresses Ava. "Happy wife, happy life. Go home. Maybe your child will make you truly happy. Like mother, like daughter. Leave us to clean this mess up. You of all people should know how it feels and how it goes with family." Another is looking at you, Dickie. "Oh, Dickie, we already know all the scars on your body and your soul. We don't want to break our favorite doll by torturing it some more. Don't you agree?"
Yeah, you don't need to do that. We're done.
Sophie turns to you, Chris. "No. Why should you be the one to go? Why should the rest of us not pay for everything that we've done?"
You didn't do anything. I did it all. I don't really know what I did, but I did it. Mum's dead because of me.
People died around me too. I don't know why. Maybe it's not all your fault.
It must be. It has to be, I think. I just don't want you, Free, to go. You mustn't.
She puts on what looks like a childish pout, and a tear is streaming down her cheek. That torn up cheek that looks like just muscle and sinew, dead meat, even with the blood trickling around on the walls from all of your open gashes and wounds. There is something almost touching about seeing your sister already mourning you as you have made up your choice.
Indeed. I'll start to go. But I'll turn to Richard and the others, especially Eve, and just say, thanks for coming to my birthday.
Happy birthday.
And as I turn to the beings and step to them, one last question, though perhaps it doesn't matter anymore. Why do I belong to you? I was just a child. Why have I always belonged to you monsters?
You do not remember the little girl, then?
Little girl? And I think of that small figure, and I shake my head. No, I don't remember.
And it comes to you. It comes to all of you as it suddenly starts taking place around you. You see a young 12-year-old Christopher. He's playing with his best friend, Cecilia. They are jumping around, running on a field, almost idyllic. They sit and read together. You see her running out from her house, shouting to her parents that she's going to see Christopher. And then there's the car, and the road, and the quick, ruthless death that she is given. You see the funeral. You see the closed casket. It's closed because Christopher came there earlier during the day, and he refused. He refused to let his best friend and the girl that he loved die. He doesn't remember this. But a year later, for having torn apart the veil between death and life, for having a soul torn back to this world to make its way into her dead body again, he is tormented by visions, by anger, by grief, by isolation. And that's where they find him. That's how they find him, like a beacon. And they ask him to come with him. Not as an exchange, but as a ruthless condition, because of what he has done and because his hatred, his refusal shines so brightly. And that's when he instead gives up his stepfather. He makes the deal. The walls of his bedroom burst open. There's an eternal chamber of ice. And the three, they drag your stepfather into Inferno. They torture him for 20 years. And it's that hatred, that pain, that transformed him, and that they came back for.
I just weep and fall to the ground. How unfair this all is.
And you are taken by the hand, dragged up to your feet, being taken away into the darkness, into your own purgatory, it is unfair. For you were only a little boy, born with a special gift, with a special weakness, an affinity for the veil between life and death.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the scenario Till Death Do Us Part, which is this year's Cultmas release by Helmgast for KULT Divinity Lost. The scenario was written in 1991 as a convention scenario for Upcon by Gunilla Jonsson and Mikael Petersen. Nick Rankovic has updated the scenario for this 2024 release. The music was created by Atrium Carceri and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Please check out cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more of their lovely dark ambient. We would like to give a massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon: Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Mike Parker, Maciej, and Black Templar for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for KULT Divinity Lost, Call of Cthulhu, and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay there. And you can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play some KULT with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that death is only the beginning.